Hello, everyone watching. I want to thank you so much for joining us on this very special interview with Ms Ene Obi. Now, she's an author of a very interesting book. It's called Your Life is Calling. I'm going to be introducing her to you very shortly, and we're going to be I'm going to ask her a couple of questions so she has a chance to tell us about what she's done. But I just want to believe that you're doing good where you are, and running with your purpose and calling. Okay. So my name is Dr. Brian Ruben, and this is very special interview with Mrs. Ene Obi. Hi, Miss Ene. Good to have you here.
Good afternoon, Dr. Brian. It's lovely to be here. Thank you for having me.
And you all of who you're meant to be, reignite a lost spark and regain a renewed sense of purpose by answering that call. So we're gonna be talking about all of that very soon. But first of all, I want to give you a heads up of who Mrs. Ene Obi actually is. So she lives in the UK and been there for the past 3 decades. Was a human resource professional, worked with some of the most recognizable corporate organizations in the world, Glacial, Visa, Goldman Sachs, HSBC, and AstraZeneca. And in April 2021, she came out with this book. Let me tell you why this book got to me. I found out that many people are not functioning in their calling. As a result of that, you find all of the depression, all of the unhappiness, and people live their lives from a place of fear. The fear of if I don't take this job, if I don't take this role, I'm not be able to survive. I'm not be able to get this or get that. And life can never be fulfilling that way. There is a life that is, of course, greater and bigger than that. But we let this lie, we let this die inside because we're really focused on survival. We're afraid of stepping out, and that's also the reason why we have multiplied problems in the world. Because when people see a problem they could have easily responded to and brought solutions, they won't do that because of fear of the consequence of making such big decisions. But there is something a life greater, just like I read just a while ago, a life that is inside all of us. And that's what I think about this book, Your Life is Calling. So when I saw the title, it just got to me. I could relate to that because I've been there really, right? So it just got to me, and I'm glad that today we have the chance to really talk about this book that you've written, and so I want to welcome you once more, and I wanted to briefly tell us, why did you decide to write a book? Not just write this book, to write a book.
Whoa, why did I decide to write a book? It had been something I'd wanted to do for a long time, to be honest with you. And I felt this particular book was required in 2020 because of the year that the world went through. With the global pandemic, a lot of people had the opportunity, they were given the opportunity to reflect on their life, to think about how they want to live their life going forward. And so I thought it was a perfect opportunity for me also to share my journey and to give something back to the world in terms of hope and inspiration that if we're here beyond 2020, we can change our lives and we can get back to that place where we have goals and dreams and where we're not scared to begin to fulfill those goals and dreams. So that's the reason why.
Oh, that's quite interesting. So from what you're saying, I can understand the purpose here is to share stories, is to share your story, to share your journey, to share inspiration, not necessarily because you were looking for another stream of income.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It was not about another stream of income. It was about me helping people who are going through what I went through and sharing with them my journey, the path that I navigated to get to a point of fulfillment. Because I see my story not as a burden to me, but as a weapon that I can share as a blueprint to help other people. Why do I say this? Let me share a little bit of my background, if I may. You read out a snippet of my bio. I worked in the global world for almost 3 decades. I worked in human resources, and I had really great jobs in wonderful organizations, some of the biggest brands that the world has to offer: Visa, HSBC, Goldman Sachs, AstraZeneca. I had a
Hmm.
really good life on paper, but I
Right.
had a yearning in my heart for more. I had a desire. I felt that I hadn't explored all of my potential. I wasn't using all of my gifts, all of my talents. But
Hmm.
because I didn't know what I had, so I didn't know that there was more. I felt there was more, but I didn't know for sure that there was more because my head was telling me, you worked in the corporate world for 3 decades. That's all you know how to do. What are you doing thinking that there's more? But my heart told me that there was more. So I was stuck. I was trapped. And the longer I stayed in my roles, the more unfulfilled I was. And the dream of working in those wonderful, enriching environments turned into a nightmare. And I didn't know how to get out of
Yeah,
that nightmare.
that's a very
And that's the
strong one.
story I share in my book.
Hmm.
I'm going to stop talking now.
That's a very strong one. A nightmare. Because the jobs you just described, you were you were in some great organizations really. You meant that didn't bring you satisfaction? Is that what you're saying?
So I think that's a really great question. And I think the answer is this is exactly what I talk about in the book. We are not static. Human beings are not static. We're dynamic. And in
That's
our
right.
life, we have different seasons. So those
Right.
jobs gave me satisfaction in one season of my life. But that
I,
season had changed. But I didn't change with the season. I didn't know when the time had come for me to do
mm,
something different. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. So, yes, those jobs gave me absolute satisfaction when I had that dream, but the dream
I
moved
get it.
on. I didn't move on with the dream. And that was when the dream became a nightmare.
I get it. I get it. Perfect. So there are different seasons, and you don't need to stay in a particular season, overstay in a season. There's a need to move forward. Life is not static. So says Ene Obi, the author of Your Life is Calling. All right. So there are many people, of course, who share in this same kind of story. Now the season is gone. They know it within themselves. Oh, they don't even know if it's somehow there's some kind of dissatisfaction they can't even explain, right? And they are such people are watching now. What are those signs? Are there some signs, there's some pointers that can help me understand that i'm this season is over, I'm supposed to move forward something else?
Yes, absolutely. So, in fact, it's funny you asked that question because that was a post I put on social media a couple of days ago. So, there are definitely signs. There are a few really strong signs. One is that you have yearnings. You use the word. We've both used the word in the past few minutes. It's called
Okay.
unfulfillment. You feel empty. You feel exhausted, emotionally exhausted. You are
Mm,
going to a job, you are doing your job, you are living a good life, but
okay.
inside you feel empty and you feel trapped. But you can't explain how you feel. You just know that there's something that is making me frustrated. and I
Mm.
need to find out what that is. Another way I felt, and this is very strong, is I say that my body went to work, but my soul stayed at home. When your soul is not with you on your journey, you know you need to
Mm.
go back and pick up your soul and bring it with
Right.
you. Because your soul knows where you need to be. Your head may not know, but your soul knows. And that's your soul telling you you are overstaying your welcome in this season of your life. It's time to get back on track.
Oh my God, got it. Okay, so you come to that point where your soul knows what you want. Your body is here, your soul is not there. Okay, you said you talk about trick science. That's number two. Am I correct?
Yes, what is the third sign? The third sign is when you feel, when you know that if today was your last day on earth, you would have regrets. Now
Oh,
that's powerful. When you say
oh,
to yourself, especially given the last year that we've had, nobody knew when their last day would be up. As morbid as that is, you're a doctor. You know that this is how this thing works, right? I'm not sure if you're a medical doctor, so forgive me for saying that. But the point I make is with people losing their lives every day all around us in 2020. And this is what
right,
I when I mean, this is what I mean when I talk about pressing the reset button. A lot of
right.
people, for me anyway,
Mm,
were thinking, well, if my number is up, how would I
right,
account for my life? When you
right,
know that there will be regrets because you haven't done all that you're capable of doing, that's another
right,
sign.
right. I get that. I get that perfect. Now, there's something that I want to ask you. You just given us these three signs, and that's very important. Somebody might be experiencing this right now. And does this have to do has something to do with age? There's a certain age you get in life, and then you begin to feel this, or can it happen to just anybody?
Wow, I think that's such a great question. I think it can happen to anybody, but I do feel that it is more prevalent in people of a certain age, people who have had a few seasons, people who feel that they have, people who know that they have had successful seasons, but they know
Right.
that in spite of that success, there is still more. Because why do I say this? When you are younger, and I do want to say it's not an age thing, but it's more
Okay.
prevalent with people of a certain age. I know people in their 20s who already know that the life that
Right.
they're living is not the life, it's not the life that they want to die with, right?
Right.
But I feel as you get older, you get to know yourself more and you get to recognize your talents and potential. And that's why you know, that's why your heart knows when you're not
Mm,
living to all of your potential. So I don't think it's only people of a certain age, but I do think it's more prevalent in people of a certain age.
got it. Got it. It's not about age, but it's more prevalent for people of a certain age. I got that. And something else I can get out of all this conversation is that it's not really about somebody who is not functioning in his purpose, but you're saying that within that purpose, there are phases, there are seasons. So we have two categories: those who are completely not even functioning in their purpose, and those who are in their purpose, but they've overstayed a certain season. Which of these groups did this book address?
So this book addresses people who, for me, it's about renewed purpose. Let me explain what I mean. I think it's a really good point to explain what I mean. When I
All
was
right.
in my 30s and I was raising my young sons, my purpose was to be the best mother that I could be. And that was fine. I didn't have a purpose to do anything else because that was my job, that was my passion, that was my purpose to raise the boys that I had been gifted with in life. right? So I don't think that purpose is static. I think purpose is also dynamic. I
Okay.
think at different seasons we have different purpose. My purpose as a child was to go to school to get an education. That was my purpose, right?
Okay.
So I don't think our purpose is, I think, how do I put this? I think our purpose is I think our purpose is fluid, and the passions and the skills and the gifts are associated with the purpose in that season of our life. So to answer your question specifically, I it's not about people not having a purpose. It's about people discovering what their purpose is in a particular season and using their gifts to fulfill that purpose in that season. I come back to the word season.
I get it. I get it. You meant purpose is fluid, it's not static, it's dynamic, changes with seasons. Am I correct?
That's my that's my that's my theory. Correct.
So says Ene Obi. Okay, this is
That's my
wonderful.
theory. It's not fact, it's my opinion, right?
Okay, fine. Yeah, we're discussing your idea here, so it's fine. Okay. All right. Now,
Exactly.
something that is very important. Somebody hears your story and he's actually or she's actually motivated. So she realizes there is more to life, and I want to really pursue that. I know I've overstayed this purpose, but there is this concerned with security, right? So I don't want to step out of my comfort zone because it could be scary, nobody knows what's going to happen, right? How do you respond to someone who has this kind of issues?
Whoa, that is a beautiful question. So let me
All right,
let me start off by saying I am not suggesting that your purpose is not in your career or not in your job. It may well be.
right,
That's the first thing I want to say. And that is something that I battled with for a long time. And I want to make that very clear. Some people have a purpose to rise to be the CEO of the organization in which they work. And that's absolutely fine if that's your purpose. So that's the one thing I want to say. The second thing I want to say, though, is if you know that your purpose is not in your career, is not in your job, I'm not I'm not suggesting that you leave your job and do anything foolish because that will be completely foolish. What I am saying is make room in your life for your purpose until you get to a point where you may be able to leave your job and your purpose will sustain you. Now, that is the ultimate fulfillment, in my view. But I
right,
also want to follow up really quickly and say your gift makes room for you. What do I mean by that? You'll be surprised, and I'm saying this not just to you, but to your viewers, that when you step out in faith into your purpose, you'll be surprised how wonderfully things work out for you in ways that you couldn't design, even if you designed it yourself. What do I mean? I left my last corporate job in January 2020. It took me 6 months, 6 months of lots of work, personal development work to find myself. In July 2020, I signed up to be mentored by the legend that is Les Brown. In September 2020, 2 months later, I got to share a virtual stage with Les Brown. Why do I say this? That after 30 years in the corporate world, it took me just 2 months to achieve one of my biggest goals, one of my biggest dreams. In
all right.
April 2021, 8 months later, I released the first book authored by me. It won't take you 30 years
Yeah,
because when you
yeah.
start in purpose, purpose is waiting for you. And all it
Life
needs
is
is for you to say, I'm ready. And it
yeah,
propels you in ways that you couldn't even dream
yeah,
of.
right. So I get that. I guess purpose is waiting for you. I guess that's how it came about. The title of the book, Your Life is Calling. So, this book is a wonderful gift to the world. And how can people get this book all around the world?
There are two ways people can get this book. The easiest way, I think, is on Amazon because there's Amazon in a lot of countries, so people can get it. It's available on Amazon. It's also available from my website. But if you get it on my website and you're not in the UK or the US or Europe, then obviously there are shipping considerations. But it's on my website and it's on Amazon. And my website is www.ziano.co.uk. And how do you spell Ziano? Is Ziano. www.zin, sorry, ziano.co.uk.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so this is an incredible book. I can see that this was gonna make tremendous impact in your life if you pick up a copy of this book. So we brought Anna for this special interview because we believe it's gonna help inspire change in people's lives so they can lead change in the community. This is what leadership is about. It's about functioning in your purpose and that way you help move people closer to their dreams. That's how we have a better world. That's how we have a safer world. That's how we have a more prosperous world. So, and I want to thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story with us. Please, what will be your last words to our viewers before we sign off on this interview?
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me again. My last words to your viewers will be that if you feel that you can do more, if your heart is telling you, you have yearnings, you have desires coming from your heart telling you that you can do more, it is because you can, in fact, do more. So I say
Perfect.
to you, don't act small, don't think small, don't play small, because you
Perfect.
have infinite potential to be so much more than
Wow.
whatever you've done already.
I love it. You have infinite potential to do so much more than you have ever already. So tell you what, go to amazon.co.uk or amazon.com or wherever the case might be in your country to pick up a copy of Your Life is Calling. I want to thank you especially, NLB, for sharing your story with us and this special interview. Thank you so much, and thank you for the difference you're making in the world. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for giving us this gift. Your life is calling.
Thank you so much, Dr. Brian. Thank you for having me. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your inspiration. Thank you for the blessing of your natural gifts. I want to thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.